Today's daily dose of math is about my lathe. This is a lathe. It's a machine that's used to work on a piece of wood like this snowman Christmas ornament. This heavy black thing is a chuck, which is attached to the lathe and to which you are able to attach pieces of wood that you work on. You need them attached tightly. I found a good place to buy pieces of wood that are very affordable and that look quite nice once you have carved down to the center of them, in the form of dowels. This is a dowel. It has a 2-inch diameter and it's 48 inches long. The thing is though, even the largest snowman that I make is quite a lot smaller in its diameter than the dowel. So I'm wasting wood. I'm spending more money than I want to, and I waste time carving the piece of wood down, removing the extra wood until it gets to the size that I want, and it presents a health hazard because sawdust is bad for your health. You have to be careful around it. What's more, this is a little bit large, and it's useful to me to be able to make smaller items, even quite tiny. So I could make all of these from smaller pieces of wood. This dowel has a 1.5-inch diameter. The problem is that the chuck on the lathe will only go down as small as 1.6 inches. So this smaller dowel won't fit. What I need to do is make a chuck adapter so that the small dowels will fit. And if I succeed at doing that, I could buy even smaller dowels than this, which would be very affordable and useful for making small items. I'm going to make the adapter from this cardboard core, from a roll of paper towel, and sandpaper, glued together with wood glue. And to do that, I need to know the circumference. This is where the math comes in. I want to calculate and measure the circumference of my dowels so that I cut the pieces of sandpaper and cardboard the right lengths so that I can layer them and make the adapter I need. Measuring circumference with a ruler is awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it with this piece of wire. I'm using wire instead of string because the wire can hold its position. I can bend it around the dowel until I can see the circumference of the dowel showing on the wire. I know that if I just bend over this last bit, I now have a piece of wire which is the same length as the circumference of my 1.5-inch diameter dowel. And I'll use this to measure my cardboard and my sandpaper. Now I have 3 pieces like this. Each is a cardboard core glued to a piece of sandpaper. I'm going to take all of them out of their clamps. And now I'm going to glue them together. In order to get enough thickness to reduce the chuck gripping size below 1.5 inches, so that my smaller dowels will fit. So I'm going to use the same gluing technique that I used before and clamp them again. Now, why am I using sandpaper as part of my layers instead of just a bunch of cardboard? Why am I gluing it all together? Because I don't want it to slip. The chuck has to be able to grip onto the piece of wood very tightly for it to be safe. Otherwise, the piece of wood can come loose from the chuck while you're working, and its natural movement will send it flying up into your face. I wear a safety visor, but I still don't want a piece of wood flying into my face. If it comes loose from the chuck also, the piece of wood can be ruined, and then I'd have to start my project over again. Now, just to show that this is mathy enough to be a daily dose of math, I'm going to point out that the measurements and calculations that I did are covered in the Math P023 and Math P024 books that I teach in my classroom. Above the wavy line, we have the conversion factor between inches and centimeters. I used that in a proportion to figure out that the diameter of the wooden dowel, that is 1.5 inches, is equal to 3.81 centimeters. That's part of the Math P023 course, but then to find the radius, what I need for my circumference formula is part of the Math P024 course. The radius is the diameter divided by 2, so I divided 3.81 by 2 and I got 1.905 centimeters for my radius. I plugged that into the circumference of a circle formula with a pi rounded to 3.14, and I get 11.97 centimeters. That means that all of the strips of sandpaper and all of the strips of cardboard that I need have to be about 11.9 centimeters in length, or actually just a little bit shorter so that they don't overlap. And now we're going to see if it fits. I'll take this out of the clamp. Now I may as well just use the same dowel. This is a 1.5 inch dowel to test whether it will fit. Now, just to show you the problem, if I tighten the chuck as much as it'll go, this is still loose, so that doesn't work. But with this wrapped around the dowel, let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's a little wobbly, but I'd correct that before I would start working on it. What I have to do is tighten it. And it takes a lot of tightening because the cardboard can be squished down quite a bit. We want a good grip. That is a good grip. Put it at top speed. Turn it down again, turn it off again, and then check to see if it came loose or if I can tighten it a little more. And no, I can't. It's tight. So now I can save money, save time, and save the amount of sawdust that gets into the air around here all at once by buying smaller diameter dowels. And if it works with 1.5 inch, well, a 1 inch diameter dowel is even cheaper. So that's the next step, is to make a thicker adapter for smaller dowels and save even more money. That's today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.